Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Missflips. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys what I learned kind of throughout my first year of furniture flipping. We're going to be covering 3 categories. So my first is going to be safety. Of course, safety is the most important. And then we're going to be moving on to hacks, little tricks and things that I have done to expedite my learning process, or well, expedite yours. I had to go through the learning process. And then our third category is going to be how I recommend selling furniture, pricing, listing, all that sort of stuff. Since I technically started in April, this isn't a full year review, but I thought I would do a 21 recap of all of the things that I've learned through these past couple of months, my first new year of being a furniture flipper. And hopefully this will be a great video for all of you guys considering furniture flipping as a career or as a hobby. Hopefully this will kind of steer you in the right direction and help you avoid all of the early on mistakes that we all make, and hopefully use some tips that a lot of furniture flippers don't really know in their first couple of months of furniture flipping. All right, so let's get started. So as always, my first thing that I'm gonna go over is safety. First off, you're gonna want to invest in really good safety equipment. So things like a good respirator, earphones like to put over your ears. I actually just invested in some headphone guy earmuff things. Anytime I'm using a power tool, I find myself like wanting to be able to plug my ears, but if you're wanting to do something else while using a power tool, you're most likely not being safe. Eliminate all of the things that you need before you start using power tools, and one of those things is protection for your ears. You know, losing your hearing. It's kind of a big deal. Anyway, the next thing we got are eyeglasses or goggles, whatever the case may be. You always want to be able to protect your eyes. And also I know that as a furniture flipper, sometimes we have to use chemical equipment like paint stripper or things like barkeeper's friend, bleach, all that sort of stuff. And so we want to protect our eyes from getting any of those nasty guys in it. Gloves. Gloves are super important, just something that you can use when you're applying anything that has to do with chemicals. Make sure you get the right gloves though, because you know, those thin latex gloves, they're not gonna hold up much, if at all, against things like paint stripper and all those other chemicals. They kind of just melt off your hands. So if they can do that to latex, imagine what they can do to your skin. And last but not least on our list for safety equipment is boots. Steel-toed is highly recommended. I got a steel-toed pair of boots from my boyfriend's grandparents, who so kindly gifted me these pairs of boots because they saw me doing things barefoot and, you know, in shoes that aren't good for furniture flipping. Not only do they help keep you warm, but they also help keep your feet safe. Say if you drop a piece of furniture on your foot, or, you know, drop a hammer or a saw, it's just so unbelievably helpful to have the right kind of shoes. And also, a lot of you guys are working in your garage. Having good shoes for just standing all day and working on furniture is not only gonna help your feet, but it's also gonna help your legs, your knees, your lower back, all of that sort of stuff. Having the proper support is so important, and proper boots, safety boots, will help you do that. Speaking of lower backs, lift from the knees. Don't get in over your head when it comes to what you can and cannot lift. You know your body's limits. Don't try and push them. And if you're like me and you only have a 2-person system with, you know, me and my boyfriend for things like delivery or pickup, maybe you should think about investing in like moving equipment such as dollies or those straps that go around your shoulders and help you, like, you know, hoist things up. And invest in wheels. Wheels that go underneath furniture help so much. The little tri-wheel things that go underneath furniture legs, I have to say I am a little disappointed because they constantly just like topple over and like come out from underneath the legs. But I mean, you make do with what you got. So that is what I have right now, and it is much better and much safer than just trying to lift up a huge dresser just, you know, by yourselves. All right, so moving on to little tricks and hacks that I've learned along the way. So this is kind of my favorite part because you know, you figure out things and ways to make things easier for yourself throughout furniture flipping. And again, like, it is for yourself, so whatever works for me may not work for you. My first one that I'm gonna say is making drawers slide easier. So I know that I've seen a lot of furniture flippers, you know, take the wax, like furniture wax, and rub it on every surface that the drawer touches. But to me, that's a waste of really expensive wax that was particularly made to be on top of a piece. That's like your protective layer right there. And let's face it, wax is very expensive. So I personally just go to thrift stores and buy candles. You can buy old candles for like $1, and all you have to do is either use the whole candle if it's small, or just break off a piece and rub it on the drawer slides, rub it along the edges, wherever you think that the drawer is gonna be, you know, touching wood to wood or metal to metal. You can just rub it on all of those surfaces and it works just as well, if not better. And it's cheap and very effective. My second thing is get organized. Get your garage organized. I have a whole video focusing on how I organized my space. I'm working only in my garage. I don't have any exterior storage from my pieces for my finished product. I don't have any other staging wall besides what is in my garage, and that's it. So organization is extremely important for me. It just saves you on efficiency. It saves you on money in case you know, are disorganized and lose stuff a lot and have to buy things over and over and over again just because you keep losing them. So yeah, stay organized. My next tip is to buy a paint sprayer. It's not, you know, it's not that, like, you know, secret of a tip or anything. I'm pretty sure everybody knows that eventually you're gonna want to have a paint sprayer, but this is just something that changed my efficiency entirely when it came to furniture flipping. I started pumping out pieces like that. It was that easy, that fast, and it was kind of fun and very satisfying. I mean, furniture flipping is always fun, but yeah, it was just very satisfying, and you can make really quick money. All-in-one paints are very, very easy, and they make it so simple. And all you have to do is sand down your piece to make sure that your all-in-one paint sticks. And then you do, you know, 2 or 3, maybe 4 coats of the paint, and you're good to go. It's effortless. Speaking of making quick money, paint furniture black and gold. I have a whole video where I do a Q&A and I talk about black and gold is literally the fastest thing that I have ever sold. I sold it fast and I got 4 projects off of just 1 project. Something that I've learned since I started flipping furniture is to list on Etsy. I started my Etsy store pretty much right out of the gate. I opened up my Etsy store probably a couple weeks in. From the beginning, I listed things that I had already sold. So all of my favorite pieces that I'm most proud of, I listed on Etsy and made sure to put in the description and in the title of the piece that it had already sold. But the reason why you want to do this is because people will see your pieces and they'll order from you. I sold, like, officially sold 1 piece on Etsy, usually because I list it both on Etsy and on Facebook Marketplace and OfferUp and all those good things all at the same time. So usually they sell locally before someone buys it on Etsy, but I did sell 1 piece on Etsy. I've also gotten 2 commissions off of Etsy. So even if, you know, your listings aren't available, people are still gonna see your work and they're gonna be interested in hiring you for their pieces of furniture. And you wanna make sure to put in your description that you are available for commissioned hires. And yeah, so I would highly recommend getting that Etsy store up and running as soon as possible. And UShip is a great tool to use when selling furniture on Etsy. It's how I ship all of my furniture. I'm not gonna tell you much about that because I have a whole video dedicated to Etsy and UShip, 2 separate videos that cover both things, how to sell on Etsy and then also how to ship with UShip. So go and check those videos out. I'll make sure to include them in the description below. But yeah, can't recommend it enough. It's great. All right, so my last tip that I learned is I do a lot of intricate designs and I work a lot with gold and all that sort of stuff. And in my last video that I did where I was working on this piece right here, I actually came up with this idea to get an empty marker and put mineral spirits in that empty marker and use that to kind of clean up my lines and get nice details everywhere and make sure that everything was just really crisp and straight. It worked beautifully. You can get empty markers off of Amazon Prime and you just put a little bit of mineral spirits in there and it's like a magic eraser. It just gets everything off. It is glorious. So yeah, if you guys are looking to clean up your intricate designs or looking to get mineral spirits in some pretty fine places, that is a great way to do it. All right, so the last category is selling your piece. So how to sell it, how to market it, how to price it, all that good stuff. Don't undersell your art. Don't do it. Don't underprice it. Don't undervalue yourself. Make sure that you're getting what you deserve. And of course, a lot of that has to do with where you live, what kind of market you have where you are. So you definitely want to look at your market and see what other things are selling for. But at the same time, you have to know your worth. I posted this guy up on Facebook Marketplace and I don't want to tell you guys the price yet because it hasn't officially sold. The guy said that he was going to be sending me a check in the mail for my listing price. So he just sent me the tracking number and I'm, waiting to make sure that it doesn't bounce and all that sort of stuff. But I listed it high, way higher than I ever thought that I was going to get. My mom was the one who encouraged me to do it and I thank her for it because I wouldn't have gotten this offer if I didn't. I cannot stress enough. Start high. Start high and just see if you can. Because, at the end of the day, they can only do two things. Either you can sell it for that asked price and make a lot of money, or you can just lower the price later, relist it. Whatever the case may be, is just the worst they can do is just not buy it. And you can just mark it down from there. But start high. Don't undersell yourself. Speaking of which, if you guys are interested to see how much I actually sold that piece for, make sure you go over to my Instagram and, do all the following and all that sort of stuff. Because I have a highlight story on that profile that covers everything from sales and like my profits, listing price, what I bought it for, all that good stuff. So make sure you go on over there. Stay tuned for that sale price because if it goes through, it's gonna be awesome. Another way to make sure that your pieces sell is just to make sure to put them on multiple platforms. So like I was talking about earlier, put it on Etsy, put it on Facebook, offer up Craigslist if you want. I don't know. Just list the piece and see what happens. You never know what your piece is going to sell on until you list it. I've had pieces sell on all three platforms, Facebook, OfferUp, Etsy, so just try it. Also, when it comes to pricing, you want to make sure that you are getting the hourly that you want and the hourly that you deserve. So keeping track of your hours, you can do it on paper, you can do it on a little board in your garage if that helps you. Put it into an Excel sheet on the computer, whatever that may be. There's actually an app called Clockify that I was recently recommended to use by my godmother, and that is so cool. I haven't actually used it yet, but I've looked at the features and everything and it's really neat. It helps you keep everything organized and you can have the app track what you're how long you're working, or you can put it in manually and it just helps you keep tabs of everything right in the app. Keeping track of that stuff is important. You want to calculate how much money you're actually getting for furniture flipping and making sure that it's worth your time and energy to do it. So when it comes to pricing, that I think would be my most recommended thing. When it comes to selling, photos have a lot to do with it. Make sure your photos are well lit, and honestly, that is my biggest tip. If a photo is well lit, it will draw the eye, it'll draw traction, and you will get that sale. That to me is way more important than staging. I see pieces all the time that are staged really cute, but have really dark lighting, and it's not something that I'm drawn to. Of course, I check it out because I'm a furniture flipper and I'm always you know, looking for deals and all that sort of stuff. But like, I notice what I find aesthetically pleasing, and it is always a well-lit photo. I hardly ever stage my pieces. It's very, very rare that I do. I usually let the piece speak for itself. Minimal staging, if any. So staging to me is not that important. It's all about light. Flattering angles are also a thing for furniture. Like I know that that's usually something that you think about for people or whatever the case may be, but furniture has angles. And so look at that. And if you guys want me to make a video on that, let me know in the comments. If enough people are commenting that, then yeah, I'll make a video telling you guys how to get the proper angle on your furniture, how to make it look the most flattering. I used to be, and sometimes still kind of am, a photographer. I started off in wedding photography and then moved on to like headshots, portraits, all that jazz. So I have like a big boy camera, but you do not need a big boy camera. You can do it with your phone or, you know, any other camera you have, I don't know. As long as it's well lit, your phone should be plenty. And when it comes to lighting, I know I say that that's the most important thing, but I'm not talking about like a full-on lighting setup. That's not what I mean at all. The more natural light you can get, the better. Really, the only thing that I do is open up my garage and let the natural light flow in. And you do want to touch up your photo a little bit, especially if you're doing it on your phone, because phones tend to, you know, not get all the colors right. We all know that, you know, a phone photo is nothing compared to real life. So you do want to edit just like a little bit of the coloring on there. The Lightroom app is amazing for that. You can go in there and you can adjust colors individually. It has a palette of like reds, orange, yellow, green, turquoise, blue, purple, and pink, I'm pretty sure are the main colors that they have you edit. And you can touch up, like add saturation in those colors individually, and that just helps your piece pop. But you don't want to over edit it. You want to be subtle and realistic. All you're doing for those photos is just making sure that the colors are true to what you see when you're looking with your own eyes. And like I said, the phone or camera, whatever you're using, often dulls those things. So all you're doing, you're not making it look, you know, crazy made up. You're just bumping up those colors a tad bit just to make it look like what you actually see in real life. Next, when it comes to selling, make sure that your dimensions are in the description of your piece. This is kind of like an underrated thing. I have gotten so many inquiries, what are the dimensions? And I'm like, oh, dang it, I forgot to put in the dimensions. Where if I already had the dimensions in there, that process could have been expedited even more, and I could have had that person, instead of asking me for the dimensions, giving them time to, you know, look on Facebook Marketplace further, they could have just been like, oh, this is perfect for what I need. Can I get it from you? Also, when it comes to descriptions, don't be afraid to use color words. I'll just read you one of my descriptions. Oh, by the way, in my listings, I always put my Instagram. So, you know, if I make a listing, I always put at the top, visit my social media for more. I put my Instagram handle there so people can see it and immediately go to my Instagram page. And honestly, I've gotten a lot of followers doing that. Yeah, self-promotion doesn't hurt anybody. Okay, so color words. This adorable refurbished MCM dresser has been given a second chance with a new hand-painted trendy boho aesthetic. So just in that first line, there's words like adorable, second chance, hand-painted trendy boho aesthetic. Like, those are all colorful words that paint a picture for someone and get them thinking like, oh yeah, that is actually kind of trendy. Ooh, yeah, it is very adorable and colorful and blah, 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 blah. This piece is perfect for the boho or eclectic home, or can even act as an amazing statement piece in a variety of color palettes. So see, again, I'm using things like boho, a big trigger word, eclectic, an amazing statement piece in a variety of color palettes. Like, it just, adds flavor and entices people to buy the piece. And so doing things like that can just give your brand just a more professional look and get people enticed to buy your piece. So descriptions are very important, and yeah, don't underestimate the value of a good description. Another good way to go about getting sales is to make sure to include free delivery. And of course, you don't have to offer free delivery for like, you know, an hour away or 2 hours away or whatever, but you can decide where your little perimeter is around wherever the piece is coming from and say like, oh, I'm willing to offer free delivery within 15 miles or within 30 minutes or, you know, whatever. Just offering that little bit of free service will get a lot of attention and pique a lot of interest. So my last and final tip, I don't know if all of you guys do this or anything, but I remember the first time this particular thing happened to me, and I've kind of been hesitant to tell you guys about it just because I don't want everybody to start doing it and for everybody to catch on. Mainly, I don't want the customers catching on. It's fine if you guys catch on, but like customers, I kind of don't want you to know what we're doing here. I'm gonna tell you guys anyway because it has worked for me almost every single time I've done it. I had an experience where I asked this woman if a piece of hers was still available, and she said yes, and then I asked her if she would take a lower price for it. Say it was 45 and I offered 25, you know, or something like that. And she said to me, I am receiving a lot of interest at this time. So right now I am not accepting any lower offers. However, you are welcome to check back in a couple of days and see if the piece is still available. That changed my entire psychology about the piece. I not only felt like I had to have it, but I actually bought it for full price. I mean, I can say with 100% certainty that works because I've experienced it. And I say it now to clients who are offering me lower prices, or not to clients, but to prospective clients. If people come to me and are offering me lower prices than what I'm asking for, this piece is a perfect example. I got the higher price by using this tactic, to which he replied, no, that's okay. This price is fine. So, yeah, and it has worked over and over and over and over again. I cannot tell you how many times I've done that and people have been like, oh, no, it's okay. I'll take it for this price. It works immediately. So that is probably the most valuable thing that I have learned and little trick that I keep up my sleeve. I hope you guys start doing it and making sales faster, but also kind of keep it on the down low because we don't want our customers figuring us out. So, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you learned a lot, and I hope that you take all of these little tips and lessons and tricks that I have learned throughout my first year furniture flipping and apply them to your own. Even if you're an experienced furniture flipper, I hope that you learned something new and carry it forward into whatever you're doing. Thank you so much for making this past year such an amazing experience. I loved learning with you guys and sharing all of my experiences with you. I feel like I am 1,000,000 times more knowledgeable than I was in the beginning, and obviously so. I mean, in my first videos, I've been like, I don't know what I'm doing. And now I actually feel like I do know what I'm doing. And so it's been a really fun process. So thank you guys for coming along for the ride and sticking with me through all my, figuring things out. Anyways, I look forward to having another amazing year with you guys. And again, if you haven't already, please make sure to like and subscribe and do all those things so that we can stay a happy flippin' family. Okay, stay flippin', guys. Mwah.